Alright, so today we're cooking a chicken on a offset smoker here, so it'll be a slow cook. Probably take around 4 hours, at least that's about what it usually takes me. Just figured I'd document it here while we do it this time. What you're going to need to do this way is obviously some type of wood chips, the large chunks and small chips, as well as regular coal. We got a couple different brands of coal sitting here, and actually different types of chips. Yeah, that one's a cherry, that's mesquite. I think we're going to try to use up just the cherry stuff on this one. So you need that, some sort of like a bowl that's big enough to fill with water and let your wood soak in it. Try to get it nice and moist here so it doesn't catch too quick once the flame's going, and then it just smokes and smolders more. So you need that. I like to use this apple cider vinegar for things like when I spray my grates down on the grill and scrub them off. I use a little mix of that in water instead of just water or cleaner or whatever. And then with this here, this was actually this was almost empty. There was about where my thumb is, full of apple cider vinegar. I topped it off with water. What I'll do with this is once it's all set up and cooking, I'll pour it in this little tray here underneath where the meat's sitting, just to keep it a little moist in there. And then you kind of smell this, and it's almost like the flavor kind of bakes into it a little bit. Seems that way. But yeah, so you don't need much. Just that stuff there for having the fire. I use one of these little thermometers here that's wireless, so I can put that into the meat and carry this around with me. It'll have a little alarm that goes off once it gets to temp. And then for starting the fire, I guess you could do it however you want, really. I know a lot of people like to use these so they don't have to use match light or any type of lighter fluid. So that's how we'll do it with this. I got some paper underneath, some coal in there. I'll get that fired up and going, and once that's good and hot, I'll dump it on here with just a few of these chunks. I'll close everything up, get it up to temperature, usually around about 250. And from there, I'll try to control the fire and keep it around 2 to 250 by slowly adding wood chunks and chips here. And if it gets a little hotter, I'll usually adjust the vents on the grill, or even use some sort of a water spray bottle or even the garden hose to cool it off, and vice versa. If it's running a little too cool, let it get a little hotter and heat back up. Sometimes it's kind of hard to keep the temp set with an old, cheaper offset smoker like this. Not everything's all sealed up very well, all the lids and everything. But it still works. Still does a pretty good job for us for doing chicken. So I am going to go ahead and get started. We'll get this lighted and ready, and then from there we'll start that. And when it's up to temp, we'll bring the chicken out here. All right, so I just lit this. You can see the smoke starting to roll off of that from the paper underneath. So those coals will be cooking and getting hot here over the next few minutes. Alright, so this is all just about white. Definitely really hot. Ready to start a fire. So I put a few more wood chunks on there. I'll dump this on top of those. Like so. Here, let me move this out of the way so I don't burn myself on it. And then yeah, with that, I'll give that a minute. Yeah, look, the wood chips or the chunks are already flaming up a bit. So I'll close it up and get the vents and stuff set just right. Actually, before I do that and cover that, I'll pour this vinegar and water mix into the bowl that's into there. That way I don't have to move the grate again. Guess I could pour it through it, but it doesn't really matter. So let's get this in here. There we go. And if that starts running down while you're cooking, sometimes it will, depending on how long you take. You can always add more as you go. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put the grate back on, and I'll pull with the vents and everything on the bottom and the top, and try to get it set to where we're right around 200. I think I said 250 earlier. I mean, once you're seeing temps of 250, you definitely want to back off and try to come down a bit. You try to keep it a little on the lower side, a little closer to 2. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll get back with you when it's just about ready. All right, so it got up to 200 pretty quick there, and I already went ahead and dropped the chicken on it. And the way it got up so fast, it looks like it's climbing a little bit more. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'll lay some of these wet chunks on it. Douse it down a little. It'll smoke a little more. Let's see some of the actual chips here. those on. And I already got this side choked down a good bit. Leave it about like that. And probably crack this open a little more to let a little more heat escape, so it's not getting that much oxygen on the bottom side, and up here we'll let some heat escape a little bit. And it looks like on the far side of the barrel here, we're right at 200. And on the near side, that's where the chicken's sitting. It's just over 200, just a little bit. So that's something else too. You can always move it side to side, depending on which side's hotter. But yeah, it looks like we're rolling pretty good. Look at that smoke boiling out of there. And it's right at 200. So right now it is 2:30. I'll keep an eye on the time. And as long as the temperature stays low enough, I'll just leave the lid closed and leave it be. Check it in about 25-30 minutes, something like that. All right, 30-minute check here. About 5 minutes ago, and I noticed the temperature was starting to spike up a bit, so I had to I spread the fire out a little bit, sprayed some water on it, made some adjustments, and it's cooled off now. But after about 30 minutes, or a little more than 30 minutes, if you look at it, see how it's kind of yellowish looking. So I was talking about earlier, is after about an hour, it almost looks like it's like a blackish tint, but it's not burnt, it's just the stain from the smoke. But yeah, you can see it's already starting to do that. So, like I said, that's been 30 minutes, and it's at a good temperature right now, right at about 200. So I'm gonna leave it there. Here soon, I'll probably throw another handful of wet wood chunks and chips on there. Try to keep it at 2 for about another 30 minutes. So that'll be our hour point. And then from there, depending on what the skin looks like, I might wrap some foil around it or something. So, see you soon. All right, so I just dumped a little handful of wet coal on. That's usually about how much I'll throw in at once. Handful or two, maybe one or two of the bigger chunks. Let it smolder. And if it dries out too quick and starts burning too hot, I'll just soak it down a little bit with a little bit of water. But we're still at 200. Right after you put a handful or two on there, you'll notice it'll start heavily smoking again, coming out of the chimney there. It's not quite doing it yet, but usually does after a minute or so. All right, so it's been an hour, actually a little bit over an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. Since we last checked them, the temperatures went up a little bit. It's crept up. This side's saying it's just under 250. And same with this side, but a little bit lower. Kind of hard to see here. Let's see how dark it's looking. Yeah, see, that skin's not too dark yet. It's just pretty yellow still. So I think what I'll do is maybe roll it over and then put some fresh wood chips on there with some water. Get them burning again, get some more smoke rolling. And yeah, maybe after a little bit more time, if the skin starts getting a little bit darker. Like I said, usually takes about an hour, but I think I've been doing it a little bit lower this time. So after a little bit, we'll wrap it in foil and then let it keep cooking. All right, yeah, I flipped it over, and if you can see on the bottom, it's not quite stained as much. A lot whiter looking. You can see the marks from the grill on it. So I'll let it sit like this for a while, let the skin get a little more stained and darker before we cover it up to prevent it from getting any darker than we want it. Yeah, look, since I've opened it, fire sparked up down in there again. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some wet coals in there to get that flame out and keep the flame, or keep the fire going, or smoldering, whatever. Yeah, so I haven't added any yet. I just wanted to show you what it looked like first. This is pretty much all burnt up. We got one big chunk in there with a flame on it. So I'll chuck a couple handfuls. Here, you know what? Let's do another big chunk. And then scoop up some of these chips. When I scoop them up, I like to try to get some water in my hand too. Because once you got coal in there piled up anyway, even if you go a little excessive on the water, it'll just smoke a whole lot and then slowly start cooking it and turning it into coal. That's probably enough for now. So I'll go ahead and close this up again and keep waiting. Probably give another 30 minutes and then check it again. All right, so we're right now at 2 hours and 45 minutes since I first put it on. It's at about 200 degrees at the moment. It looks like the skin's not darkening up too fast this time, so I'm not gonna wrap it with foil, at least not yet. So it's ready for some wood here, but I am at the point, since it's been over 2 hours now, where I need to put a thermometer in it. So I'm gonna probably roll it over again, poke this in it, check the temperature, and put some more wood on there. and I'll get back with you. When you use one of these thermometers, you poke it in here, you want to make sure, so this is going into the breast through the front, you want to make sure you don't hit any bone or anything, because the bone could be hotter and give you a wrong reading. So I just put it right in the center right there of one of the breasts and ease it in, I don't know, maybe about 2 to 2.5 inches. That way it's clear of all bone and everything. It's just right there in the fatty part of the meat, the part that'll most likely be the coolest out of all of it, because you want to make sure that that comes up to a safe temperature before you eat it. And right now, if it's at 118, we'll go ahead and give it some more time. We're probably about halfway there, or maybe a little bit closer. We'll see. Getting a little hot, but we're at 4 hours. This side's still under 250. And at 4 hours, chicken temp's still only at about 120. Most of this cook has been at 200 or below so far. So I figure since it's already been 4 hours, slowly cooking, I'll let it raise a bit. Alright, so we are at 7:30. We started at 2:30, so we're at 5 hours. We're right at about just under 250 on that side, and it looks like a little over 200 there. Still less than 225 on this side. The chicken is at 140, and yeah, it's been 5 hours. The sun's starting to set. You look out that way, so the end of the video here may be dark, but whatever, the longer it takes, usually the better it is. So we're at 140 now, maybe another hour or so, we'll see. Get back with you here in a minute. It's dripping juices from underneath the grill, and the dogs keep licking it up. Alright guys, so as of right now, it is 8:30. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's been 6 hours, 2:30 to 8:30. It took a little longer than I expected. Right now we're a little over 200. A few times it fluctuated up and down a little bit, got a little high, had to cool it off, got a little cool, had to heat it back up. And just like I said before, the skin gets real dark when you do this unless you wrap it. It looks like it's burnt, but it's not. It's just stained from the smoke. On this one, about 4 hours in, it wasn't as dark as usual, so I left it be, and it eventually darkened up pretty good, as you can see. But that's not burnt or anything. That's just the dark tint on the skin from being smoked for so long. When we cut into that, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna fall apart. And yeah, this is probably, whenever I do this, I always say this is the best chicken that I have ever ate anywhere. It's just amazing. So it looks dark on the outside there, but it's perfect. The temperature alarm just went off on the little gun over here. Once again, sorry it got dark out. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, here we go. Here we are, 165. It's beeping. And usually when it gets like that, they say that the internal temperature, once it reaches a certain point like that, that the chicken will continue to cook itself internally after being on here for so long with such low heat, especially if you wrapped it up in foil or something. So yeah, this is definitely done. That's in the fattest part of the breast there, and it's been on both sides, left and right. So yeah. Oh yeah, look at that juice fly out when I pull the thermometer out. Look at it dripping. Oh yeah, this is gonna be amazing. So yeah, this one took 6 hours. Usually they take me about 4 to 5, but for some reason this time it took a little longer. I don't know if it's because the chicken's a little bit heavier, or I kept the temperature a little bit lower than usual. I don't know, because I usually keep the temp right around 2 to 250, which is what I did this time, but it definitely took longer. So we're gonna get this inside. We're gonna get this bad boy cut into a little bit, and see the smile on everybody's faces when they give her a taste. So that's next. All right, so we got it in the house. It's kind of hard to record with one hand and cut with the other, but yeah, it just falls apart. Look at all that juice puddled up in there, and it just, I mean, it's amazing. Grab the legs and pull on them just a little bit. That one was already a little loose, but they just peel right on off, and it's just tender and falls apart. And oh yeah, look at that, just It's great. Best chicken I've ever had. Every time. Oh shoot, looks like I got some juice on the camera lens. Hang on a minute. Yeah. But yep, took a long time. 6 hours to be exact, but it is amazing. And the inside of it is nothing like what the outside looks like. It has this black dark color, but once again, that's just because it's stained from sitting in all that smoke for so long. It's just, it's great. So we're gonna go ahead and enjoy this. Yeah, thanks for watching.